First contact. The transport shuttle hummed as it descended through Azuris's atmosphere, giving Dr. Sarah Chen her first glimpse of the alien world's swirling lavender clouds and vast emerald oceans. Final approach to Azuris Research Station, announced the automated system. Please prepare for landing. Sarah gathered her research materials, pulse quickening with anticipation. After 3 years of applying for this xenobiology grant, she was finally here to study the unique ecosystem of Azuris and its mysterious inhabitants. The transport touched down with a gentle thud, and as the door hissed open, she was greeted by air thick with sweet floral scents, unlike anything on Earth. "Welcome to Azuris, Dr. Chen," a melodious voice said. Sarah turned to find an Azurian standing at perfect attention. His skin was a rich purple that seemed to shimmer in the planet's amber sunlight. His dark, wavy hair framed elegant features, marked with intricate ridge patterns along his temples. "I am Kai," he continued with a formal bow. "I have been assigned as your liaison and guide during your research stay." "Thank you," Sarah replied, trying not to stare. "I'm looking forward to learning about your world." Kai maintained a precise distance as he led her toward the research compound. "We have prepared laboratory space according to your specifications," he explained. "The High Council is most interested in your studies of our biological compatibility with Earth species." As they walked, Sarah noticed how other Azurians moved with the same measured grace as Kai, their interactions characterized by careful distance and minimal physical contact. "Is 3 arm lengths the customary personal space here?" she asked, noting the exact spacing between passing Azurians. Something flickered in Kai's violet eyes. "You are observant," he said. "Yes, the Azurian Code of Conduct specifies precise distancing for non-familial interactions. It promotes clarity of thought." The research station was a marvel of organic architecture, structures that appeared grown rather than built, with walls that curved like seashells and ceilings that filtered sunlight through crystalline patterns. "This is beautiful," Sarah breathed. "Beauty is a subjective evaluation," Kai replied automatically, then added in a softer tone, "But yes, I find it pleasing as well." Later that evening, as Sarah organized her equipment, Kai arrived with a nutrient analysis of local foods compatible with human physiology. "I've taken the liberty of arranging a sampling menu," he explained. "Our biochemistry shows surprising parallels despite our evolutionary differences." As they reviewed the data together, their hands accidentally brushed. Sarah felt an unexpected jolt of electricity at the contact. Kai jerked back as if burned, his purple skin darkening along his cheeks. "I apologize for the inappropriate contact," he said stiffly. "No need to apologize," Sarah assured him. "On Earth, casual contact is normal." "Our ways are different," Kai's voice was tight. "Azurians believe physical distance maintains emotional clarity." Yet as he spoke, Sarah noticed his eyes lingering on her face with an intensity that contradicted his words. "Perhaps, while I'm here, we could learn from each other's cultures, a comparative anthropological study alongside my biological research?" For a moment, something unguarded flashed across Kai's features. "I would find that acceptable," he said, his formal tone at odds with the sudden warmth in his eyes. As the twin moons of Azuris rose outside the laboratory windows, casting rainbow reflections through the crystal walls, Sarah couldn't help but wonder about the contradictions she sensed in her guide. The rigid adherence to rules of distance, even as his eyes conveyed a deeper curiosity. What she didn't yet know was that her arrival would challenge not only scientific understanding, but the very foundations of Azurian society. Cultural barriers. A week into her research mission, Sarah found herself increasingly fascinated not just by Azuris's unique ecosystem, but by its people, particularly Kai. She watched him from across the laboratory as he meticulously organized specimen samples.
His movements were precise, economical, yet somehow graceful. The cellular regeneration rate in these aquatic plants is remarkable, she said, breaking the comfortable silence that had developed between them. Nothing like this exists on Earth. Kai approached, maintaining the exact 3-arm-length distance that Azuian protocol demanded. Our oceans contain trace elements not found in your solar system, he explained. Dr. Cooper's initial survey missed several key isotopes. Sarah smiled. Alex Cooper was always more interested in mapping star systems than detailed biological analysis. A subtle change crossed Kai's face at the mention of the previous Earth scientist. You know Dr. Cooper personally? We trained together at the Earth Sciences Academy, she replied, noticing the slight stiffness that had entered Kai's posture. Is something wrong? No, he answered too quickly. Dr. Cooper's visit was before my time as liaison. Before Sarah could question further, the laboratory door slid open. Commander Rena entered, her deep purple skin bearing the elaborate ridge patterns of Azurian leadership. Her eyes, colder than Kai's, surveyed the room. Ambassador Chen, she acknowledged with a formal bow that didn't quite conceal her disapproval. I trust your research progresses adequately. Dr. Chen, Sarah corrected gently. And yes, the findings are fascinating. Your world's biodiversity exceeds our preliminary data by nearly 40%. Commander Rena's attention shifted to Kai. The Council requests your presence at tomorrow's deliberation, she said in their native language, seemingly unaware that Sarah's universal translator could interpret, your father specifically wishes to discuss your assignment. Sarah pretended not to notice how Kai's shoulders tensed slightly. I will attend, he replied in standard. After Rena departed, Sarah raised an eyebrow. Your father is on the High Council? Kai hesitated. Yes, he is Chief Consul Aya. My assignment to the diplomatic corps was his recommendation. You didn't want this position? His violet eyes met hers. My preferences were irrelevant. The assignment serves Azuris. That evening, Sarah ventured into the central atrium of the research complex. A gathering of Azurians moved in synchronized patterns that resembled both dance and meditation, yet devoid of any visible emotion. The communion of thought, Kai's voice came from behind her, a traditional practice that unifies mental energies. Sarah turned. It's beautiful, but what? So controlled, she admitted. On Earth, dancing is an expression of joy, passion, even sorrow. Something sparked in Kai's eyes. Not all Azurians believe in such rigid control, he said quietly. There are those who remember the old ways before the Great Reformation. Before he could elaborate, a chime sounded throughout the atrium. The participants immediately dispersed, returning to perfect social spacing. Later that night, Sarah reviewed historical texts on Azurian culture. When a knock came at our quarters, she was surprised to find Kai standing there, holding an ancient-looking data crystal. This is not in the official archives, he said, glancing nervously down the corridor before entering. It contains historical recordings from before the Reformation. 3 centuries ago, my people lived differently. Sarah activated the crystal. Images flickered to life, showing Azurians dancing wildly, embracing freely, their expressions uninhibited by current social constraints. What happened? She whispered. Civil war, Kai replied, his voice tight with suppressed emotion. Passionate factions fought until we nearly destroyed ourselves. The Reformation established the code of conduct to prevent such chaos from recurring. And everyone just accepted this? Kai's eyes met hers, suddenly intense. Not everyone, he whispered. Some of us believe emotion need not lead to destruction, that passion can be channeled rather than suppressed. A warning chime indicated approaching security patrols. Kai quickly retrieved the crystal. I should not have shown you this, he said, moving toward the door. It would mean severe consequences if discovered. Kai. Sarah caught his wrist without thinking. His skin was warm beneath her fingers, and for a moment, neither moved. You should maintain proper distance, Dr. Chen, he said, but made no attempt to pull away. And If I don't want to? She asked. The conflict in his eyes was unmistakable. Then we both face dangers beyond imagining, he replied softly, before slipping away into the corridor. Sarah stood motionless in her doorway, realizing that in just 1 week on Azurus, everything she thought she understood about objective scientific observation had been completely upended by the mysterious purple-skinned man who was supposed to be merely her guide.
Hidden rituals. The following evening, Sarah found a cryptic message on her data tablet. Midnight Observatory Deck. Come alone. It wasn't signed, but she knew it was from Kai. As the facility's lighting dimmed for night cycle, she made her way through the quiet corridors. Azurus' twin moons cast ethereal light through the transparent ceiling panels, creating patterns that danced across the floor. The observatory deck was empty when she arrived, or so it seemed. You came. Kai emerged from the shadows, his expression uncharacteristically animated. I wasn't certain you would. Your historical crystal left me with questions, many questions. Kai glanced at the chronometer on the wall. We don't have much time. Here. He handed her a shimmering cloak woven with threads that seemed to absorb light. This will help you blend in where we're going. And where exactly is that? Sarah asked, draping the garment around her shoulders. To witness what the council pretends doesn't exist, he whispered, the gathering of the unbound. They slipped from the research facility through a maintenance access point, moving quickly across the luminescent fields that surrounded the compound. The native flora glowed softly underfoot, responding to their presence with gentle pulses of light. The vegetation is semi-sentient, Kai explained as they walked. It communicates through bioluminescence. Our ancestors understood this connection before the Reformation. Now, it's considered merely a biological curiosity. After nearly an hour of travel, they reached a series of rock formations that jutted from the landscape like ancient fingers reaching toward the stars. The Pillars of Remembrance, Kai said, leading her through a narrow passage. Sacred ground from before. The passage opened into a hidden valley where dozens of Azurians had gathered. Unlike the controlled movements Sarah had observed in the research compound, these people moved freely. Their laughter carried on the night air, their gestures expansive and uninhibited. "Who are they?" she whispered, awestruck. "We are the Unbound," Kai replied with undisguised pride, "keepers of Azurus' true cultural heritage. We believe emotions are not to be feared, but embraced." A female Azurian approached them, her elaborate temple ridges marking her as significantly older than Kai. She embraced him without hesitation, completely ignoring the distancing protocols. "Nephew," she said warmly, "you've brought your Earth woman at last." Aunt Arya, Kai's skin darkened in what she now recognized as the Azurian equivalent of a blush. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen. She's here to observe only." Arya's knowing smile suggested she didn't believe this for a moment. "The connection ceremony is about to begin. Come." In the center of the gathering, musicians played instruments Sarah had never seen before, creating melodies that seemed to bypass her ears and resonate directly within her chest. Azurians moved in a circular dance, each step telling a story. "Before the Reformation," Kai explained softly, "music was our highest art form. We believed it connected us directly to the cosmic consciousness." "Why is this hidden? It's beautiful," Arya answered. "Because passion frightens those in power. They fear what cannot be controlled." She took Sarah's hand. "Dance with us, Earthwoman. Show us how humans celebrate life." Before Sarah could protest, she was drawn into the circle. The rhythm was infectious, and soon she found herself moving alongside the Azurians. Their joy was palpable, their energy contagious. Kai watched from the edge, his expression a mixture of longing and uncertainty. "Join us," Sarah called to him, extending her hand. After a moment's hesitation, he stepped into the circle.
Their hands met, and the electric sensation Sarah had felt at their first accidental touch now flowed freely between them. The music seemed to intensify as they moved together, the distance between them gradually diminishing until it was merely symbolic. When the dance ended, neither pulled away. "This is why you were assigned to me," Sarah realized suddenly. "Your father knows you're part of this movement." Kai nodded. "He hopes exposure to Earth culture will show me the dangers of emotional expression, that I'll see humans as a cautionary tale rather than inspiration." "And has it?" she asked. His violet eyes held hers. "It has shown me something else entirely," he whispered. Arya approached with a small vial containing luminescent fluid. "The essence of truth," she explained, "derived from the bioluminescent flora. It doesn't alter consciousness, rather reveals it, shows what truly lies in one's heart. Our most sacred ritual," Kai added. "Participants share the essence, allowing genuine connection without pretense." "Will you join us, Sarah of Earth?" Arya asked. "No outsider has ever participated." Sarah looked at Kai, whose expression remained carefully neutral despite the hope evident in his eyes. The scientist in her urged caution, but something deeper pulled her toward this moment of truth. "I will," she said. As the essence was shared among the circle, Sarah felt a profound shift, not in her thinking, but in her perception. The barriers between herself and the others seemed to dissolve, not just the physical distance, but the cultural misunderstandings, the false assumptions. And when her eyes met Kai's across the circle, what passed between them needed no words, no translation, no interpreter. The truth was undeniable, unexpected, and utterly transformative.